It's been a summer of weather extremes the world over, prompting some to warn that when it comes to climate change, the future is now. Tracy Smith has been looking at the urgency of the issue and explains how we still can stem the tide.
In Las Vegas, Nevada, it's come to this. Around here, climate change has helped make water even more scarce. So under a new Nevada law, the grass has got to go.
When we look at outdoor water use in southern Nevada, landscaping far and away is the largest water user, and of that, it's grass.
The city's already pulled up about 4 million square feet of grass on public property so far this year because thirsty green parkways are something they just can't afford anymore, says Bronson Mack of the Las Vegas Water Authority.
So this grass behind you is going.
The grass that you see behind me is not long for this world. In fact, within the next couple of months to a year, this grass will be completely eliminated and it'll be replaced with drip irrigated trees and plants.
Possible broken sprinkler.
And every drip counts. So water waste investigators, also known as water cops, patrol the neighborhoods, taking note of who's watering when and how much of it goes down the drain. Living through the summer of 22 has made climate change harder to deny, whether here in bone-dry Nevada or in the Caribbean, where rampant seaweed growth is choking beaches, or Kentucky, where too much water created a tragedy that's still unfolding. But it seems there are still those who could use convincing that climate change has become a climate emergency.
Hold on, Jack. Are you suggesting these weather anomalies are going to continue?
Not just continue, get worse. I think we're on the verge of a major climate shift.
Hollywood scientists have been sounding the climate alarm for decades, but last spring, some real scientists chained themselves to a Los Angeles bank in protest over the lack of action.
We're going to lose everything, and we're not joking. We're not lying, we're not exaggerating. This is so bad, everyone.
So do you feel like you're sitting on all this science and you're trying to share it with the world and no one's listening?
That's exactly how I feel, yes.
How did you get into climate?
Peter Kalmus, a NASA scientist and father of two, says that we should be scared to death about the climate right now.
I think that if your house is on fire, you get the adrenaline, you get the panic, and that saves your life because you get out of the house and you put the fire out. And
so you want people to freak out about
I do
this.
want people to freak out. Yeah, I don't think people are freaking out enough. There's not enough public urgency over this.
For starters, he wants people to know what the world is going to feel like in summers to come.
So if this summer is so ridiculously hot, what is next summer going to look like?
In general, it's a trend going up. 20 years from now, we will look back on the summer of 2022 and we will wish that we had it this good. We will wish it was this cool. And that's not an exaggeration whatsoever.
And for the most part, the scientific community is behind him. The UN's Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change report is basically the last word on where we stand. And that word is grim, says report lead author Sarah Birch.
Tell me the bad news coming out of this report.
The bad news from the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change is that we are not on track currently to limit warming to less than 2 degrees. And this is that limit that we've set that scientists have told us is important because it helps us to avoid the worst impacts of climate change.
So 2 degrees of warming, what does that even mean? We asked Neil deGrasse Tyson to lay it out for us.
How many degrees away was the Ice Age of 20,000 years ago? 8 degrees colder. 8 degrees colder, we have an ice age where glaciers reach all the way down to the middle of the United States of America.
So even a half a degree makes a huge difference.
In your life, what's a half a degree to you or me? 2 degrees? Who cares? Earth, it matters. It matters. 8 degrees colder, glaciers reach St. Louis. 2 degrees warmer, we're losing our coastline. Take it up a little higher. I don't even want to be around to see that.
If the ice caps melt, how high could the waters get?
From the ice caps, the water levels of the oceans will rise and reach the left elbow of the Statue of Liberty. That's her left arm holding the document. I don't even want to think about that.
Tyson, an astrophysicist who's put some of his cosmic perspectives into a new book, says our planet's future might be written in the stars, or at least in our planetary neighbors.
Do you realize Venus is basically the same size as Earth, has the same surface gravity? Might have turned out just like Earth, but something bad happened on Venus. They have a runaway greenhouse effect. It is 900 degrees Fahrenheit on Venus. And I did the math on this. You can cook a 16-inch pepperoni pizza on the windowsill in 3 seconds. Okay. So is that a benefit to this? Perhaps. But I want to know what knobs nature turned there, because if we are turning those same knobs on Earth artificially, that's bad. That does not bode well for the future of life on Earth, but especially for the civilization that was built over the past 10,000 years over a period of relative stability in our climate.
The thing is, even if more and more people believe we're headed for disaster, and polls seem to show that they do, the key is actually doing something about it, and fast.
So just simply put, do we know what we need to do?
Absolutely. We know that we need to move our electricity away from coal and highly polluting fossil fuels and towards solar and wind. We know what we need to do to our buildings to make them more efficient. We need to insulate them. We need to heat them with heat pumps instead of using natural gas, coal, and oil. We need to use clean electricity and switch to EVs. So we have this laundry list of really practical solutions that we know will work, but accelerating the uptake is the trick now. That's the challenge.
Congress is inching toward legislation that'll provide billions in tax incentives for clean energy and more. But for now, we've learned to adapt. And in Nevada, it means more than just pulling up grass. Lake Mead, one of the main water sources in the region, is drying up faster than ever. The white bathtub ring shows just how much. Some of the intake pipes that carry water downstream, like this one, are already sticking out above the water line. But if the lake's water level drops too low to flow downstream, or becomes what's known as a dead pool, the people in southern Nevada have a plan. They've built this low lake level pumping station near what used to be the water's edge. These massive pipes connect to a new intake, almost a drain, at the very bottom of Lake Mead, so they'll be able to keep pumping water until the last available drop. Water Authority Chief John Ensminger.
You guys could see this coming, that you had to do something.
Absolutely, but we didn't need a crystal ball to know that we needed to prepare to protect our community.
And while scientists can see the worst of what lies ahead, they also can see a way forward. Dr. Sarah Birch.
Why do you still have hope?
The flip side of that coin is that over the last 10 years, we've also seen evidence of real sustained greenhouse gas reductions. So what that tells me is we have a roadmap. We have the technologies, the policies, the actions already at play that we need to get where we want to go.
We just have to follow the roadmap.
That's right. And move faster. Move faster along that road.
We are all the same race, the human race. And I'd like to think we can all band together and solve our problems without killing ourselves.